You know that feeling when you discover something really old and you realize it's actually really brilliant? Well, that's been me this year. I now teach homeschool children in a classical education model. And the more I learn about it, the more I realize that the oldest approach to education and the most progressive share the same starting point: wonder. Not worksheets, not standardized tests, not curriculum checklists. Wonder. Today, I want to talk about what classical education and a 19th century British educator named Charlotte Mason got absolutely right, and why, somewhere along the way, mainstream schooling forgot all of it. Let me introduce you to Charlotte Mason, because if you haven't heard of her, you're not alone. Mainstream education almost never mentions her. And honestly, that's a bit of a tragedy. Charlotte Mason was a British educator who lived from 1842 to 1923. She spent her whole life thinking deeply about children, how they learn, how they think, how they come alive in a classroom. Her philosophy was radical at the time. And here's the thing, it's still radical even now. She believed that children are not blank slates to be filled with facts. She believed that they are whole persons, curious, capable, imaginative human beings who deserve to encounter the real world through real books, real nature, and real conversation. So why is she so popular then with homeschoolers and classical educators, but almost invisible to mainstream education? Because her methods are slow, they're rich, they resist being packaged into a program, tested with a rubric, or measured on a spreadsheet. And our modern system has become addicted to measurable outputs. Charlotte Mason's approach produces something harder to measure: a love of learning. And that lasts a lifetime. And it's been incredible for me because my tagline is for the love of learning. And it's something that I have pursued my whole teaching and parenting life. And so when I found Charlotte Mason, and that's really what she's about, creating this and nurturing this love of learning, of course, I fell in love. And now let's talk about classical education, because I think people hear the word classical and they picture dusty old textbooks and Latin signs everywhere. And yes, there is some Latin, but the philosophy underneath it all is anything but dusty. Classical education at its heart is built on what they call the trivium, 3 stages of learning that mirror how children actually develop. For the youngest learners, that's from kindergarten right through to year 2, they're in the grammar stage. And this is the season of taking it all in. Stories, songs, chants, patterns. Children at this age are sponges, and classical education knows it. So instead of rushing them through abstraction, it feeds them with rich language, beautiful stories, and deep exposure to the world. Does that sound familiar? It should, because Charlotte Mason said almost exactly the same thing. Here's what I find so fascinating. Classical education and Charlotte Mason developed separately, different centuries, different contexts, and they both arrived at the same conclusion. Children learn best when they are engaged with living, meaningful content. Both traditions push hard against what Mason called twaddle, a thin, watered down, dumbed down material that underestimates children. Doesn't that say something to you about our curriculum nowadays? Both traditions say, give children the real thing. Both traditions are deeply aligned in what we now call inquiry-based learning. The idea that Children learn by exploring and questioning, noticing and constructing meaning. The irony is that inquiry-based learning is often presented as a modern idea, a progressive, innovative approach. And it is wonderful, but it's also ancient. Socrates was doing it 2,400 years ago. Charlotte Mason was doing it 150 years ago. We keep rediscovering the same truth. Children are not passive recipients of information. They are meaning makers. One of Charlotte Mason's most powerful ideas is something called living books. And if you're a homeschooler in the Charlotte Mason tradition, you already know this. But for those of you that aren't, let me explain. A living book is not a textbook. It's not a worksheet. It's not a simplified reader designed to tick a phonics box. A living book is written by someone who loves their subject. And that love comes through on the page, draws them in. And here's what I know from working with children every single day. When a child is emotionally connected to a story, they remember it. They talk about it. They draw it. They become it on the playground. This is why my entire teaching approach is built around high-quality picture books, not as a nice extra, but as a core. A great picture book, think I Went Walking by Sue Williams, is a living book. It has rhythm, it has pattern, it has beauty. And from that one book, you can teach English, math, science, and the arts. All of it is connected. All of it is alive. That is Charlotte Mason. That is classical education. That is also just good teaching. And one more idea I want to highlight, because it's so simple but so powerful, is one that I only learned recently. And now that I know it, I'm almost annoyed that I didn't do enough of it previously. Narration. Charlotte Mason believed that after a child reads or hears something, you simply ask them, tell me what you remember. Not a quiz, not a multiple choice test, just tell me. And what happens when a child narrates? They process, they organize, they make meaning, they use their own words, which means they actually own the knowledge now. It's not just borrowed for long enough to answer a question. In classical schools, this shows up in Socratic discussion. In Charlotte Mason homes, it's a daily practice from the earliest years. And neuroscience backs this up completely. Retrieval practice, the act of pulling information back out of your brain, is one of the most powerful strategies we know of. Charlotte Mason knew this in 1890, and she called it narration. So here's my challenge to you, whether you're a parent, a homeschooler, or a frustrated early childhood educator in a classroom. Don't wait for the system to catch up. You can bring this right now into your home or into your room right now. You don't need expensive resources. You don't need a whole new curriculum. You just need a great book and some time, preferably outdoors, and the belief that children are capable of so much more than we ask of them. And speaking of great books, I have something for you. I've put together a free lesson plan built entirely around I Went Walking, lovely picture book by Sue Williams. It's a beautiful, simple, joyful picture book and a perfect living book for the youngest learners. The lesson plan shows you exactly how to use one little picture book to teach English, maths, and science. And in the spirit of everything we've talked about today, it has rich language, wonder, and connection. I've also created a free guide that takes it even further, showing you exactly how a simple and natural thing like going for a walk with a child and collecting whatever they find along the way can become full, rich, multi-subject learning experience, whether it be a stick, a leaf, a stone, a feather. You can teach English, maths, science, even art. Charlotte Mason would absolutely approve. You can grab both the lesson plan and the e-guide completely free. The link is in the show notes. Go for a walk this week. Take your child or your students with you. See what they notice. That right there is the oldest and most powerful classroom in the world. And if you're wondering about a curriculum for kindergartners or pre-kindergartners, this is the perfect starting point for you. Just your curiosity, your desire to want to teach differently, richly, to connect with your whole child. So go get those 2 downloads in the show notes. And until next time, take care of yourself and be blooming curious.